Welcome back to another episode of Tieran's Tea Time. I'm your host, Tieran McCarthy Kenny. And, of course, again, technical difficulties. Had a whole 40-minute breakdown of UFC 300 last night, right after UFC 300. We were recording on April 14th, Sunday, the day after UFC 300. I was up till 4 in the morning last night trying to figure this out. Didn't work. So we're just going to talk about it all over again. And there are some new nuances. Watch some of the post-fight press conference. Some interesting stuff there that we'll get into. First, to break it down, early prelims. Deiveson Figueiredo versus Cody. Now, Figueiredo minus 295. Cody plus 240. All FanDuel odds were the day of the fight. I believe it was noon yesterday that I wrote them down. All pre-fight. Obviously, they move all over the scales. You go on different DraftKings, to FanDuel, it all is kind of different. Usually not that different, but just a bit. Round one, mostly feeling each other out. Figueiredo, power shot here and there. Had a major high kick to Cody's chin and a few hooks. Surprised it didn't do as much damage as as it looked. Round two, super deep arm triangle that somehow Cody got out of. And then Figueiredo took his back again and submitted him with a rear naked choke, which is just going to be an ongoing theme throughout this entire event. If you didn't watch UFC 300, so many rear naked chokes attempted. I love them. That's my favorite choke. Rear naked ninja over here. That's how we do. Figueiredo, 8th ranked bantamweight coming into this fight. Now, easily going to be a top 5 contender, maybe a title shot after Merab. The waters are a little murky there. Depends if Merab wins. I could totally see that. If not, especially after being a former flyweight champion, and then beating a former bantamweight champion. So Merab wins, I could possibly see that. But if Sean wins, I know he's going to want to go against Topuria. But now Topuria and Max, who knows? Just a lot of different complicated things there. Dominant statement performance, 100%. Next, we had Bobby Green and Jim Miller. Bobby Green minus 178, Jim Miller's plus 150, lightweight bout. Hands down the entire time, no matter what the distance was. Bobby Green style, and then Yuri was kind of the same. Don't love it. Round one, crazy ending. Major connection by Miller that hurt Bobby. Then Bobby connected a knee to the face right by the bell. This was really Jim Miller's high point of the entire fight, honestly. I thought he might be able to put him away, and I was rooting for him. To be honest, usually I shouldn't say who I'm rooting for, but I was rooting for him. Didn't work out. Round two, arena's exploding. Miller chance after Miller chance. Major round for Bobby, though. Pieced him up the entire time. Killer jab. And just covered his face in blood. Rogan had a little funny tidbit of just saying that he's wearing a mask of blood. And that's just what it was. He looked insane. Absolutely insane. Round three, somehow no stoppage towards the end. Completely rocked Miller, dropped him, just put on a complete striking clinic throughout the entire match. Absolutely dominated him. I completely underestimated Bobby. Excuse me, Jesus, I'm stuttering over here. I just don't like his ego. I don't like the cocky kind of. I just don't vibe with that. And the face-off really threw me the wrong way, and was ultimately why I was going to bet against him. He just immediately went to the face-off. Obviously, you go in, you look at the guy, you stare at him for it's a minute, you leave, whatever, you're flexing to the crowd, whatever it is. He went in there for like 2 seconds. No lie, looked at him, went away. And I thought that was him putting his tail between his legs a bit, acting overconfident when he's actually nervous. So I was right there. I'm like, red flag, don't like it. But I was completely wrong. He came out there, hands down the entire time, talking shit mid-fight, really not protecting himself. He only got stunned a couple times, once or twice, and just showed his speed and striking ability like no other. Miller, on the other hand, I thought I don't want to say looked a little old, but just like a step slow, and he didn't follow up with any combos. Several times, powerful strike, but then would retreat, and he wouldn't follow up. And I think he was just nervous the entire time. He'd taken too much damage. If he got close, you close the distance, with him already being pretty messed up. So it was a fantastic fight. went the wrong way, in my opinion. Marina Rodriguez, plus 112, sixth in the strawweight division, and Jessica Andrade, fourth in the strawweight division, minus 132. This one actually moved a bunch. I believe it was a day or two prior to fight day that Marina was actually favored. Went the other way. Pretty split decision here. Round one, solid first round. Andrade compromised Marina's left leg, which was a theme throughout the entire fight. Got her on the ground and had almost 3 minutes of control time. Round two, more balanced round. As the round went on, Marina started to connect some strikes, but it really only made Andrade more angry. And what I call, she unleashed the Pitbull energy. She charged her, just demanding a knockout, throwing everything, just completely punishing her. And she was nuts. And Marina got saved by the bell. Round three, kind of more of the same. Andrade got noticeably fatigued, kind of leading to Marina's boxing ability to shine once again. But again, Pitbull woke up, got rowdy, and almost resulted in a knockout. Didn't, though. Very fun, entertaining fight. I wasn't as hyped up for this fight, but it really did show out. Closer than I thought. Nonetheless, the strawweight division is pretty stacked, and it'll be interesting to see who Andrade will face next. Maybe Rose. Jalen Turner, minus 235, versus Renato Moicano, plus 194. Lightweight bout. Round one, Turner just had a ton of raw power. Hit him with a front body kick that hurt him first few seconds. Really bad. And then had a huge straight left to Moicano, which this was the whole debate of the entire thing. He thought he had a walk-off KO and stood there waiting because he thought he was done and didn't follow up. And, of course, Moicano gets right back up. Round two, more control time, ends up submitting him. Or not submitting him, excuse me. He had some heavy shots from mount, but he tried to submit him several times, got him in the mount, and punished him. And that was it. And it sucks. I'm kind of upset in both fashions where it's like, dude, come on. Why wouldn't you go try to finish it no matter what? Like, why wouldn't you follow down even if he was completely dead? If his legs just went completely out, why wouldn't you still go down there and hammer fist him to death? I don't get that, just to be safe, you know? And then on the other hand, I don't love stoppages where somebody's not unconscious or completely messed up. And I understand it gets to the point where the person's not fighting back, all right? But I don't know. I don't love it. It doesn't sit well with me entirely, but I get it. I understand it. I'm not saying it should be different. Kind of a controversial TKO, but whatever. Prelims, Diego Lopez, minus 144, and then versus Yusuf, plus 122, featherweight bout. Absolute star in the making. Diego Lopez had the entire arena on his side, everybody on his side, dropped him with a right uppercut in the clinch, put him out in a minute and 29 seconds. Absolute dangerous striker, extremely dangerous grappler, had a ton of his submissions. He's the real deal. He's looking like a future champion. Dana says it. We're all saying it. He looks scary. He's definitely going to be a major contender in that featherweight division in the next couple of fights. Who knows after this Topuria, Holloway bout, maybe he goes against Brian Ortega. I think that would be a fantastic fight, especially with their grappling ability. And still their ability to strike. You know, they both still have a solid stand-up game. So I think that would be an awesome fight. And then whoever wins, title shot. Kayla Harrison, minus 430 versus Holly Holm, plus 340, bantamweight bout. This was absolutely the worst pick of the night for me. Round one, completely demoralizing round for Holmes. Looked like Holmes was trying to attempt to beat Harrison on her own game, which I thought was just ridiculous, and it went south immediately. A 6th-degree judo black belt, 2 gold medals. I wouldn't try to beat her at her own game, especially when your strongest ability is striking. Ridiculous. 2 takedowns by Harrison that led to some punishing elbows, split her open from everywhere. Full guard, stacked guard, mount, everywhere. Round 2, more of the same in the second that led to a rear naked submission. Definitely my worst pick. I underestimated Harrison for sure. I thought she was getting a little bit over her head going against a UFC legend like that. But I also relied too hard on Holmes' history. I mean, I thought since she's taken down Rousey, she's champion, she's taken down a ton of impressive people, that she'd be able to put away that youngster, similar to a Poirier, Benoit Saint-Denis situation. And I was wrong. I mean, we're also in the camp too. We all assumed she was going to go after striking. We didn't think she was going to do that. If she was trying to do this game plan, absolutely not would I take Holmes. So that's kind of where I'm in the middle, where it's like it's not totally my fault because we all assumed the game plan would be trying to stand up on the feet, and she would have way more of a chance. Completely went the other way. I honestly think this is like you should think about retiring. Aljamain Sterling minus 166 versus Calvin Kattar plus 140. Calvin Kattar, third highest takedown defense in featherweight history, 91%. Very astonishing. Round one, I mean, this is kind of the same thing. Grappling filled first round. Sterling somehow achieved 4 takedowns in one round, but was unsuccessful really getting anywhere. Almost took Calvin's back twice, but Calvin did a fantastic job about getting up every time. Round two, more of the same. Bunch of clinches, takedowns. Found myself zoning out a bit. Round three, more of the same. It was just it was honestly pretty boring of a fight as a fan. But if you're a grappling junkie, this was the fight for you. It makes sense, obviously, though, coming from Aldo's perspective, right? He's a high level jiu-jitsu guy, and going against a blue belt, obviously all you're going to try to do is submit him. I get that. But as a fan, it wasn't the best, and it seemed like Calvin was a bit timid, really not throwing much, not trying to establish any sort of striking just because he's afraid of getting taken down. And it was pretty impressive, that he actually didn't get submitted. It's kind of hard to say or choose whether it's impressive that Calvin didn't get submitted, or it's a little like Sterling, what's going on here, because you can't even submit a blue belt. It's not like his jiu-jitsu is unreal. It's his takedown, and you're taking him down every time, but you still can't submit him. Not sure which one's which. Next, we got Yuri versus Rakic, lightweight bout. Rakic minus 110, Yuri minus 106. It was the only one that they were both kind of favored. Obviously, Rakic more than Yuri. Still kind of interesting. Another amazing fight. One up for fight of the night. Obviously, BMF took it, but they're still right there, hand in hand. Rakic bruised up Yuri's leg really bad to the point that he actually almost couldn't move. Then pieced up his right eye, But that's the price you pay for the Bobby Green hand style. If your hands are down the entire time, you're going to get pieced up a bit. But towards the end, Yuri had a few shots that just completely rocked Rakic. But Rakic also displayed very, very tight technique. Round two, an amazing ending. All Yuri wanted was violence. Just like Joe Rogan said, he put defense at the back burner 100%. He just wanted the knockout, did not care about getting hit, did not care about his legs. He wanted to murder this guy, and that's what he did. Connected a few punches, rocked him, then just like literally threw him on the ground. Like handily just threw him on the ground for some ground and pound action. Incredible fight. Happy to see that he got a bonus as well. Now we get to the main card. This was the fun stuff. So, Bo Nickal versus Cody Brundage. This was the highest point differential of the night, 100%. Bo Nickal minus 1,800, which was actually minus 3,000 like a few days ago, versus Cody Brundage plus 980 middleweight bout. Absolute grappling clinic between these two. Both did a great job, Bo offensively and Cody defensively. Bo took his back twice with hooks, had 3+ minutes of control time, and insanely was his longest fight ever. With 1 minute and 30 seconds in, it was already his longest fight ever. This dude has never made it out of the second round, or the first round, in 5 fights. This is the first time he's made it out of the second round. And he actually mentioned that and said that he was actually kind of happy about that because he had just more experience. But that's insane. Round 2, more of the same, of course. Cody somehow got out of 3 to 4 rear naked chokes, but got another and subbed him mid-second round. Insane that Bo Nickal thought this was a bad performance. Obviously, you can tell. There's so much pressure on him. There's so much discourse. People were booing him. Some reason people think he didn't deserve to be on the main card, and that was disrespect to everybody else. What are you talking about? He is a next superstar for the middleweight division. 100% next superstar. There's already talks about, him going after Strickland. Next, not him mentioning it. He talked about different guys, lower guys. But some people bring up, maybe Strickland for this and for that. We're going to get into that a bit because obviously he's not fighting Strickland. Strickland is going against Costa now, which would be fun. We'll discuss more and more of that probably in the next pod. But I thought it was a great performance. I think Rogan was right in just that he's the first time he really faced some adversity. Definitely the toughest wrestler he's faced so far against in the octagon. W's a W. Wrestling in the octagon compared to out is definitely different. But he's so high level. And his striking is still fantastic. He's still getting there. It's the first, really, he's only started striking in the last few years. So his progress is similar to a Pereira, honestly. Bo Nickal and Pereira are kind of having the same incline in a sense. Obviously, Bo Nickal's not a champion, not a double champion, but in the sense of just how vertical they both are and how in such a short amount of time. Definitely some similarities there, 100%. Next, Arman, fourth in the lightweight division, minus 210 versus Charles Oliveira, plus 176. I don't know how this one got away. This was a fight I was ready to bet the house on, 100%. Don't know how everybody was against Oliveira. He literally, in every statistical category, beats Arman. Obviously, he didn't get the fight, but let's just go into it. Round 1, amazing first round. I was convinced that Charles had that rear naked choke somehow. I don't know how Arman got out of it. His face was purple. Great grappling. Round 2, wild ending. Tons of takedowns. Always seemed to end in Charles's guard, which is hilarious, his closed guard. Establishing those overhooks, trying to minimize any ground and pound was fantastic. But Arman still got some elbows slipping through there, cut him open a few times. But then got saved by the bell. Charles's triangle. Holy shit. I thought if more time, he would have got that. Going to the third, 100% 1-1. Round 3, level change and explosiveness was on full display from Arman the entire time. Really thought Oliveira had the submission towards the end, but once again, Arman got saved by the bell. I think even Oliveira thought he had it too, because there's a good amount of time in the clock. He looks over to his left, sticks his tongue out. I thought it was happening. Like I said, I was ready to bet the house on him. I was upset by that one. And honestly, Arman is a high-level fighter, 100%. But I don't think he's a championship-level fighter yet. I don't care of his rank. I don't think he's there. I think if he does go to the next one, if he faces Islam again, he gets beaten. I don't think he's a championship-level contender. It is what it is. BMF title. Justin Gaethje, minus 162 versus Max Holloway, plus 136. Lightweight bout. Round 1, full violence off the rip. Justin with punishing calf kicks. Then Holloway with some vicious hooks, stunning Justin, but then breaking his nose. Hasn't been totally confirmed, but we can pretty much say broke his nose with a spinning back kick at the end of the first round. Insane. Don't know how he landed that. Full nose. Crazy kick. Round 2, 2 eye pokes headlining this round. 2 eye pokes. More of Justin's penalizing leg kicks, causing Holloway to think about his stance for sure, bumping around. Holloway continuing to work on Gaethje's face. Round 3, more leg kicks and overall strikes to Gaethje's face and body. Wouldn't be surprised if Holloway was 3-0 going in the fourth. No doubt. 2-1, 100%. Round 4, guns blazing to start this round. Gaethje got some confidence in there. Amazing striking clinic put on by these two. Gaethje stole this round for sure. Huge right hand to put Holloway on his ass. Possibly the first knockdown in Holloway's career. But if you listen to the post-press fight conference, they aren't counting that as a knockdown. I don't know why. I forget. Actually don't even think he really said it. He just said they weren't doing it as a knockdown, and Holloway started laughing and said it was a slip. Ridiculous. He knocked him on his ass. Nuts. Round 5, absolutely pure violence. Wild spinning back kicks, amazing combos from Holloway. I've never seen a combo that quick and that accurate. I believe it was a 1-2 to the body, 1-2 to the face. I couldn't even tell. Maybe it was a 1-2, 3-2. Something like that. It was insanely fast, stunned him. And then just at the end of the fight, you know you're going to win it. You're going against Gaethje, and you call him in the middle of the ring, Strickland style, and said, let's bang it out. Absolutely insane. What a better, is there a better Holloway performance? 100%. Now he's absolutely getting the title shot. This is what we're going to talk about. I mean, even right after the knockout, camera went to Israel Adesanya and Topuria looked shook. Now, Holloway brought up a good point of well, I don't really know him. We all don't really know him as well. Who knows? Maybe he's just kind of awkward. I don't know. He looked shook. I think he looked shook. Now, he admitted Topuria before this fight kept ducking him. Now he admitted, I know I have to face Max. Congratulations, all that different stuff. That fight is going to happen. Insane. It's going to be the biggest fight possibly of the year. Is there a better performance by Max Holloway? Max Holloway has gone up a level, just looked insanely dialed, sharp, in another weight division, and against one of the best opponents you could face in that division. Absolutely insane. He deserves the best. All the best. Zhang Weili minus 555 or 550, versus Yan plus 410. Women's strawweight title. Another insane fight. Round 1, major wake-up call in the beginning. Yan came out swinging, trying to knock her head off. Landing a few, taking Zhang down, but then tides completely turned. Zhang took her back, slapped her, and this was so weird. I don't know if the ref didn't notice. I don't know what it was, but Yan was completely out. You could tell. Her body was limp. And I kept saying, oh my God, I cannot wait to see what Dana's comments were. It seemed like they just chalked it up to her saying she was all right and walking back to her corner, even though she was stumbling there. Super weird. I thought the fight should have been done there. I think if you're slept, and you can tell, she was asleep before the bell went off. So it's not like she just got saved by the bell and fell asleep right after the bell went off. No, she was out, and I just don't think anybody noticed, and I think it's a weird kind of gray area. Fight probably should have been done right after that. Yan, round 2, looked like she was in absolute hell. Technically, another time where the fight could have been called. Major ground and pound without Yan really defending. It was extremely tight arm triangle as well. Somehow got out of it. Unreal fight. Just insane. Round 3, amazing comeback around by Yan, really rising to the occasion, knocked down Zhang, stunned her, took her down, did all the things. Made Zhang look extremely exhausted, and was not looking good for her. Her corner was even telling her not to throw any kicks, not really trying to really exert any energy. Round 4, another major counter by Yan, knocking down Zhang yet again, but Zhang flipped the script, winning that round, taking her back, plus some ground and pound, tons of control time, definitely going in the 5th 3-1. Round 5, more of the same, taking her to the ground, having her way, doing whatever she wants. Now, insane fight, a real battle between these two, an insane amount of grit and heart. Just some weird gray areas there. A few times where I thought that fight could have been stopped. One time where I really thought it should have been stopped. Yan put on a fantastic performance through and through, 100%. Striking-wise, heart, grit, like I said, definitely needs to work on some of that ground game. I thought Cormier had a great point of she is going against the best in the world in the strawweight division, going against an amazing grappler. She could just be looking worse because of that level that she's facing. I get that. But there were several times where Zhang took her back, and then also on mount, where she kind of dead fished it. And that's where I thought they could have called it, because if you're going by the Jalen Turner of like, okay, you turned over, you're not really doing anything, you're not moving. There were several times that Jan did that. I mean, Jan literally was belly down on the ground with the telephone right here and not doing anything. And Zhang was just having her way. So, I mean, if you're going off that rule book, you know, and you're doing that with other fights earlier in the card, I think it should be consistent. Either way, it was a fantastic fight, and the ending remained the same, but you never know. I mean, Zhang could have got knocked out. So, amazing fight. I definitely think that I think it would be an amazing rematch. I think they should 100% rematch, run it back. Alex Pereira, minus 134 versus Jamal Hill, plus 116, light heavyweight title. I mean, what is there to say? Oh, my God. What a murderer Pereira is. First round TKO, left uppercut, made it look effortless and easy, like I could have just went in there and knocked Hill out. What an all-time great. I mean, this guy hasn't even been in the UFC for 3 years, and he already has 2 belts in 2 different divisions and defended them. A belt in arguably one of the hardest divisions in the UFC, and defended his titles. He's absolutely insane. World-class kickboxer, also had 2 belts in world kickboxing as well in 2 different divisions. He's just a pure winner. Now got his black belt. Obviously, it was a little, I don't know, wasn't as great. I mean, he's getting a belt after a complete striking fight with a first round knockout, but it is what it is. I mean, he probably would have got it anyway, kind of what Rogan said. Insane. What a technical kickboxer, kind of like a Leon Edwards in that type, where he's just so technically sound. And especially against like an unorthodox fighter like Hill is, similar to like a Yuri or something like that, he's gonna shine. He's gonna put you on your ass. Going in this fight, I had Pereira. I didn't think it was gonna be like that. I thought Hill was being super underestimated 100% and would at least have taken it further. But I was wrong. I mean, Hill's a fantastic striker. His grappling is sound too. And he got put in his butt. I mean, I don't know what else is to say. I'm sure he's devastated. I don't know where he goes from here. And what I thought was crazy too, Pereira hinting that he wants to fight Aspinall in Brazil next month. Little insane. Dana didn't really seem too happy about it. Not happy or pissed off, but just like, probably not going to entertain it. Would be insane though. Obviously, Aspinall got that little picture of him staring at Pereira with the belt and blew it up. I don't know. I think it would be interesting, obviously, because if he didn't cut, he'd be a heavyweight. But you're also going against other dudes that cut to be considered a heavyweight. So I think it would be a little nuts. But for somebody that technically sound, it might be okay. Like Mighty Mouse going against a 250 guy in gi. Who knows? But I think it'd be tough. Especially, like, imagine you're going to, like, Aspinall's a tough fight. Or if you're going against John Jones, like, that's really hard, man. I don't know if that would be absolutely insane. He would be cemented as one of the greatest ever to do it. Probably one of the GOATs. If he got up there, ended up winning a belt in the heavyweight, or at least, like, beating at John Jones or something like that, 100%. But no matter what, he's an all-time great. He's going to go down as one of the best, 100%, especially in those divisions. What a murderer. And then to pivot a bit, not much to say because this just happened. Probably going to talk about it more in the podcast. But if you have not heard, if you're living under a rock, Michael Chandler, it is on. Strickland versus Costa, it is on. And what was the other fight? It was... Oh, why am I blanking? I'm having a brain fart. Oh, Dustin Islam. Oh, my God. Sorry about that. Major brain fart. 3 fantastic fights. Obviously, the Conor and Chandler one. Been talked about for over a year. Finally coming to fruition. Completely understandable with Chandler having the movie, all the different stuff. He has different obligations. 100% understand it. Uh, Strickland Costa is super fucking interesting. Obviously, two great strikers. That's a tough fight. I feel like I'm a big Strickland fan. That one makes me a little nervous. The way Costa went at Whitaker, um, who is another killer, makes me a bit nervous going for Sean. I still think it'll be entertaining as hell. Then, of course, Dustin Islam. That one's been talked up a bit. Um, I actually thought it was kind of going the other way when Islam didn't show as much interest to Dustin, you know, and kind of saying he wants to fight other dudes, whatever. But they signed it. They accepted. I think Dustin deserves it, and if he takes down Islam, that is going to be huge. We'll see. We got a few months here. It's going to be fantastic. We got some amazing cards coming up. Probably going to do more of a breakdown of these three fights next pod. But we'll see. We got a lot of NBA coming up. About to be the end of the regular season. I'm probably going to watch some right now. Some great stuff coming. We got a lot of good content on the way. Playoffs are going to be fantastic. And then we got the off season, baby. We got a lot of moves on the off season with some UFC cards. Then football is going to be starting up. I cannot wait. It's going to be super fun. I hope you enjoy. I'll see you in the next one.